strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Bulldog, and today I'm going to dive into everybody's favorite topic, bots in Splinterlands. This is a never-ending source of debate, of discussion, always ongoing. If you happen to be new to Splinterlands' policy is that botting is allowed. They value decentralization quite a bit. It's kind of a core value of the game. So they don't want to say who can or can't play the game or tell you how you can play the game. So their stance has been that the botting is allowed, but they want to make sure things are put into place so that bots do not have an advantage over humans. And there have been some aspects where bots have had advantages over humans. I think there's I think it kind of gets broken down into kind of two different groupings here. And one area Splinterlands has done a great job of tackling over the last year, and that is that it's been more profitable to have a bunch of different accounts than it has been to have one single account that you progress up. So instead of having one account that you try to get to champion, people have built bots to run 10 accounts, 50 accounts, 20,000 accounts, whatever the case is. And that has been more profitable when obviously a human can't run a bunch of different accounts. So that's not something that Splinterlands wants. There's been a bunch of changes put into place. There's even some that were just voted on that have to be coded in. We've got staking on players that will factor into battle rewards that will come. So I don't think we can say that we've completely eliminated that advantage yet, but I think we have made a ton of progress and are definitely on the right track and trending in the right direction. And hopefully once all of this kind of all the final pieces get put in, we can say that issue has been resolved. So we'll see where that goes, but we're at least trending strongly in the right direction. The other aspect though that really hasn't been talked about as much as on like town halls or as far as solutions for it is that bots can have an advantage in simply being more skilled. And they have an advantage because they can look back through millions of past battles, analyze those possible results, and apply them to whatever the rule set is at the moment. And look back and say, okay, these battles have had the highest win rate. That's what I'm going to play. And humans just aren't capable of doing that. So we are seeing bots becoming more and more skilled. And the reality is that right now, bots are more skilled, especially the high quality bots, which the public now has access to. They are more skilled than your average player. Some people would even say that those high quality bots are more skilled than any player. And we have entered an area where we are like chess, where the best human is not as good as the top bot. Bots are simply better. I don't know if we're quite that far yet, but at minimum we're not far from it. And that's kind of becoming a problem, especially in a competitive sense. We're seeing these top bots being entered into tournaments, entered into brawls, those types of things. And it's really been a source of tension in the community. And as somebody who's more of a gamer first, I don't like the fact that bots are simply better than most players. It's something I really don't like. So in Mav chat, we were kind of talking about it and trying to come up with some solutions. And I ended up kind of putting pieces of some of these together and putting out a suggestion. And that suggestion has kind of taken off. It was very popular in Mav chat. I copied on Twitter here. We can go ahead and move over. Let's go over to the Discord here where I posted that. I took a clip of this one right here and put it on Twitter, even just buried in this random conversation, and it got a bunch of retweets and comments even buried in there. So I'm coming to YouTube to see what you guys think of this idea and see if this could be a solution to our botting problem in terms of bots being more skilled than humans. So again, if we go back to one of the biggest sources for this problem is that bots can analyze a bunch of different battles. So how Mavchat basically started talking about what if things were more randomized, where there were daily factors that changed things so that analyzing past battles wasn't too relevant to today's battles. And my suggestion was, in order to make something that's kind of easy to, I shouldn't say this is easy to code because there'd still be a lot of work, but something that would be scalable would be to have random daily modifiers. And we're talking about ranked here. So this could be implemented different ways in tournaments and brawls and things. But if we're talking about ranked, basically every 24 hours have modifiers that are changed. And my suggestion would be one positive one and one negative, but you could have different quantities. You could do it however you want. And essentially you would generate a random group of cards. So it could be, okay, all death cards, or all giant cards, or all odd number cards, all fiend, or like all, I mean, fiends is a pretty small group, but all Venari. You could enter factions, all 5 mana cards, whatever the case is, however you want to break them down. Have a random group and then give them a random buff. They get +2 speed. They get +1 attack. You could give them a ability. They all have return fire. They all 1 mana cards have opportunity today. Whatever the case is, okay? And you can build up a bunch of different combinations. And I was giving buff examples. You can have a penalty. Like, okay, all death cards have -1 attack. I mean, all melee cards have -1 speed. So hopefully you can kind of see how it'd just be a randomly generated modifier. And if you could have one positive and one negative, have that last for the entire day, and then that would significantly change the battles for that day. So when a bot is analyzing all of the results of battles and looking at what performed best, well, okay, if it looks at the battles from yesterday where Earth cards all had +2 speed and I mean, death cards all started with affliction or something like that, and then you're trying to apply that to battles today where you have a completely different set of modifiers, that really changes the battles. And now that data is really no longer useful. Maybe I shouldn't say no longer useful, but it's much harder to analyze that data and apply it to the current conditions. So it'd kind of be like a different group of rule sets, but because it changes every day, it just makes it so the bots don't have that advantage. And we kind of posted that here, and there were a lot of good results. And I kept getting messages all day long. It's like, did you tell the team about this? What was the team's reaction? Do you think this can get in the game? And people seemed so excited about it. And I didn't have anybody that flat said, no, I wouldn't want it. Like, I don't like it. I had some people that said, I think bots would adapt and it wouldn't impact, like they would adjust how they build their teams and it wouldn't impact them too much. And honestly, I don't know enough about building bots to say how much of an impact this would have. It would clearly impact how a lot of them build their formulas and things now, but could they get around it? Could they be able to factor in those modifiers to make adjustments? Maybe they could, I don't know. But even if they do, like, to me, worst case, this still seems like fun. Like, in addition to possibly helping fight bots, I feel like this could also get people to log in every day. Like, okay, I want to log in today to see what today's battle modifiers are. Or I don't know, maybe you could even have today and show like what's coming tomorrow or that type of thing. It could encourage people to build deeper decks because, okay, if somebody builds up a single deck and it's like, okay, they're just going to spam the Kelia Opportunity Sneak Team like as much as they can all day long. Well, now you're going to have times where, okay, that's not going to work at all today, because right now, you've got thorns out there a bunch today, or whatever the case is. So I think it could also encourage building larger decks. I mean, you go look at some of these cheap cards or something like that, and some of them could. There's always like, okay, the rule sets make them a little more valuable now than they have been in the past or something like that. But even then, you look at the cheapest card and think, okay, like Hardy Stonefish, almost nobody really plays much with that card or something like that. Well, now what I say earlier, all 1 mana cards have opportunity. Now suddenly that's a dang good card. So just a way to kind of even give other cards more value that maybe might not normally have them based on different battle conditions. So it just sounds like it'd be fun to me as well. Even if it doesn't work for the bots, it sounds like it would be fun. So that to me is kind of a win-win scenario. If we help fight bots, which I still think it can do, then that's great. If nothing else, it adds a different layer to gameplay. And I talked about this for ranked, having it change like every 24 hours or something like that. You could also build it into actually tournaments is where I'd probably start with it. and have it so that can be an option for tournaments. You can decide if you want your tournament to have random modifiers, how many modifiers you want it to have. Do you have the modifiers change every round, or whatever the case is? So, and you can build it in the brawls and have a modifier for the entire brawl, or you can have a modifier for each individual fray. Do you have that known after the fact, or do you put the modifiers for the frays out from the beginning, and then that can help people decide where they want to assign these cards? Oh, Earth gets a major buff in this fray. Let's make sure we're assigning somebody who's got a great Earth deck over there, because they might be more likely to use that. Or this person, or maybe you want to make sure you've got a good Earth counter, or whatever the case is. So maybe you could add some extra strategy there. I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways to go with it. And I do think a lot of people say, well, this is easy to code. You just add those in and that's it. And it's not that simple either. So this would be something that would take a lot of time to implement, because you not only have to build those, you have to build a user interface. Like if we come over here, I think you probably need a whole nother row here designed to show, okay, this is today's these are today's modifiers. Again, maybe even have like tomorrow's like these are the modifiers that expire in X hours, and then after that you have these modifiers up next, or whatever the case is. So I mean, there's certainly, like, it's not something that it's just, oh yeah, well, let's put this in tomorrow and we can put it in. It's something that would definitely take some time. But I don't normally make video suggestions like this. I think I've only done one in the past, but the response to this was so overwhelming that I just had to jump onto YouTube and be like, okay, we're gonna spread this to YouTube, and we're gonna see if my YouTube audience has the same thought and what their thoughts are on this, because it's interesting. The Twitter demographic, the Discord demographic, the YouTube, like, it's kind of like each one, even Reddit, there's all different types of players who are kind of on different areas, and they play the game in different ways. So I'm always kind of curious there. So anyways, I wanted to make this video and see what your thoughts are. I kind of know your thoughts on bots already. Most of you have made those very, very clear, but I am kind of curious to know what you think of this. Would this be too much change for a casual player? Would that be too hard to adjust to? I don't think the modifiers shouldn't be anything difficult necessarily, but they do need to be significant so that they are completely changing the game every day and making it so every day the game plays completely differently. So anyways, I thought I'd throw it out there. Let me know what you guys think. I can't wait to read the comments. As always, come to my live streams. We'll have to chat about this on the live streams a little bit, and maybe get a little bit more back and forth discussion and see how things go. So I'm definitely intrigued. I'm intrigued, and yes, I did submit this to the team. I have not had a lot of responses from the team, so I don't necessarily know how feasible this suggestion is. Yes, I'm a team member, but I have no impact on development or deciding what gets put in the game or anything like that. So no, I cannot make this happen. Even if 100% of the people like it and want it, I can't necessarily make this happen, because again, it does take dev resources. And while a lot of people like this, I think if we said, okay, we're going to delay land to work on this, we might get a little bit of an uproar there. But maybe as a long-term thing down the line, this is something that we could look into as a way to make it so bots do not become the dominant players at the top of the game. So, and I don't know if we have anybody who programs bots or who are devs out there. Like, I'd also be curious how much of an impact would this have on the bots? How easy do you think it'd be to code around this? And even if it's just a little bit, like, I'm not even trying to get bots out of the game completely and say, okay, well, now bots can't function at all because of this. But if we can just take away even some of their advantage, so maybe they're not quite that good. Maybe we can still have players that are better than bots in the game. That's enough. That's a win for me. So just impacting their winning percentage slightly would be a huge thing. So I'm definitely curious to see some more input there. So anyways, thank you guys so much. I've rambled on enough. As always, yeah, let's make a 5-minute video, Bulldog, 20 minutes later. So I appreciate all of you who watch. Your support is amazing. Make sure you come by my Discord, come by my live streams. I will see you all there. Thanks again.